Tabitha Meeks, it's so great to see you. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Congrats on the new record and on all the syncs. And like, you have a Christmas song that's like 2 billion views across all the platforms. Is that true?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Thanks, son. I mean, that's amazing. Fantastic.
Thanks.
In a world of thousands, you have a billions.
It is a silly little Christmas song that makes me very happy.
Yeah, fantastic. The silliest ones are the ones that often go the farthest.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about that shortly, but maybe as an experiment, I wonder if rather than me introduce you, if for somebody who doesn't know anything about your music or your artistry, how would you describe you and what you do?
I say I am in between Nancy Sinatra and Nora Jones, stylistically. And I just simply classify it as like retro pop. If you come to my show, it's going to be like a lot of happy energy, positivity, like manifesting is a big theme throughout the album and throughout my shows. And not taking life too seriously. You'll hear my piano solos and I show off the band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And have fun. It
and
sounds
have
like
fun. That's my MO, man.
Yeah. And that's why we had to have you on. And, you know, I think of you in the context of your now fiance. Did you guys?
We got married.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, you guys have excellent taste in partners. And Eric was a guest earlier on the podcast, and I was just like, he was one of my favorite guests ever because of his like wide open spirit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The thing that you guys all made, Pitch Meeting, is just it's still like an anchor thing here in town, is it?
Yeah. It's been going 6 years now. Let's see. Me and Eric met October 2020, and it started, I think, September 2020. So what's the math on that? We're both musicians.
Yeah.
How do we figure out the math on that?
We live in the ever present.
Wait a minute.
But
5.5 years.
But the thing that sets that show apart from really anything else in town is its improvisatorial nature. And what's so crazy about that is that artists will come up with songs that aren't maybe, 2-chord songs here. They're like songs that songwriters write that have arrangements, B sections, bridges, and Eric just throws everybody, the singer and the band, together, and they just figure it out right in front of the crowd as they're going, which is a tightrope walk, to say the least.
Have you ever done it?
I've never done it. I've been to it a couple of times.
Why don't you sign up?
I need to come by. Well, my nightlife is my nights end a little earlier than they used to. But no, I need to. I need to. I want to, and I will.
It's at the Analog now. At the Hutton Hotel.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it at the Analog.
So cool.
I think.
Okay.
What a beautiful setting. Great
it's
room.
So cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like they're doing a lot of good there, and a lot of people have like the first time they've played with the band ends up being a pitch meeting, and then cool stuff happens.
It's an exciting thing that happened. You can feel the energy in the room. It's also like a great community building project where a lot of people meet each other, see each other. I'm sure new musical friendships and relationships, I imagine, have come out of pitch meetings.
And romantic relationships have too. Not just mine and Eric's.
Yeah.
There's been a couple other ones.
I'm sure there has, which is also part of the reward. I know that I still get emails. If this is in ancient history ago, I was in a bluegrass band. I started this bluegrass band in the Pacific Northwest called the Barbed Wire Cutters. And that was my first like day job in music. And we made a couple of records together and we toured constantly. And I still get emails from people saying, man, I love the Cutters show. That's where I met the Cutters at the Boundary Bay. That's where I met my wife. Aww. And I mean, that's happened a dozen times probably. People just like meeting their significant others. And you don't realize that.
That's wild.
That you maybe provided the soundtrack for somebody's lifelong romance.
That's actually like 12 is a lot though.
Well, we were quite popular, my friend.
Okay, yeah, maybe I don't know how many people were at the shows, but I'm like, you guys could like brand that and be like, come, I know the band's not together anymore, but you could have been like, come to the show, meet the love of your life.
Yeah,
like,
we didn't know it was happening.
12 people.
Yeah, you too.
You
could have wedded bliss. I mean, some of those gigs definitely turned into, or some of those those emails or whatever turned into gigs that we played at their wedding, like maybe 5 years later or whatever. So that's fun. You don't think about that when you're on a quest for superstardom.
I love
but
that.
the love that you make along the way is real. You have been in town for 6 years.
In June, it'll be 6 years.
Fantastic. And you didn't come to town right out of the gate. You too, like me, built up a thing. Kind of, you grew where you were planted, let's say. And tell me about that a little bit, your early Floridian roots.
Oh, how far back do you want to
Well,
go?
I mean, let me give, this is my turn now. I'll give a little autobiographical information and you can tell me what I get wrong and right. You grew up playing in maybe at the church, playing and singing, as so many people do. And the band that I'm thinking of that you founded, like a girl group.
Yeah,
with like
Mona Lisa Tribe.
Yes, like
the folk band.
The folk band with the 3-part harms.
Yep.
And a folk band with 3-part harms. I'm just like picturing a circuit in Florida. Like, where do you go to take this band?
We lived in West Palm Beach, so everything was reggae. And I mean, it was close to Miami too. So like there's not a big folk scene in South Florida.
No.
So that's why the band is no more. Like, we moved to Nashville, and then I probably said this in the last episode we did, but I quickly realized the other band members weren't really wanting to do music full time in the same capacity that I was wanting to. And so we ended it on really good terms. Everyone's just kind of doing what they're passionate about now. And they live in Chicago, Texas, and Florida. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of pressure on us either. We were really just like kind of touring a little bit around Florida, and then we'd do like bar gigs. And I mean, they were some of the best memories of my life because it was low pressure. It was not my full-time gig, but I was writing all the music and like managing it and everything myself. And we would just like put on shows, and we'd have all our friends come out and fill up a bar and play our original music and
so fun.
Drink. And
Did you make albums? Did you kind of go that far?
We did 2 EPs.
Yeah. Would this era have been Spotify yet? Or did you like make CDs and so on?
We started in 2016 and we ended in 2020. So we did have like little festivals around town were booking us, and we had some momentum. I think if everyone had been in the same place, like mentally, and like wanted the same thing for the band, and we kept going, I think it would have done pretty well, actually. But I'm glad about the pivot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's a version of that backstory that's probably in many a Nashville artist's
I think so. Yeah.
CV. Yeah.
I mean, you learn so much when you've done another project, and someone will be like, oh, like for you example, like you probably learned so much with that other band that you then brought into your solo stuff.
I mean, it is a theme of this podcast, and with my sort of interest in what I would say individualistic artists. Indie artists is, I think, what they're commonly called, but that's just a so overused term that it's kind of lost its meaning. But that is to say that I'm really interested in people who didn't like go to Belmont and like whose desire for success in the music business didn't start at going to college in Nashville.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's people that do that and have real success. And I think that's a way forward for a lot of people, but I don't think it makes for really interesting artists. It might, you might be very commercially successful, and that's a lot of people's dreams. But like, I think that you are a great example of somebody who took the time to kind of find your way just without the pressure.
Yeah.
Without, I've got to make my rent, how do I fit into this big music industry? And that kind of meandering sort of turns into what becomes like your sound. And absolutely, that was the case for me. I went to college in a backwater corner of America, Bellingham, Washington, which was so fun. And we really were like a microcosm of music. Like we were big in that town, my band, and then gradually Seattle, and we toured more and more regionally. But I didn't care. I hardly made any money, but my rent was even less. And so I just had time to just like study old time music and write songs and not think too hard about how to make it all pay.
Yeah.
Like my strategy then, and less so now, but it worked for a long time, was just as low overhead as possible and as much creative freedom as possible.
I did that for the first 5 years I was here. My, I write about it. The last song on my album is called The House of My Dreams. And the concept is like, I live in a really, really shitty house, but because of that, I get to follow my dreams. So it's like,
that's great time.
It's like, it may be small, but in these four walls, I found hope that was once out of reach. Someday I'll move to somewhere shiny and new, but this is the house of my dreams. So it's like, you have to do that as a musician, unless you have like some rich daddy or something like paying all your bills for you. But a lot of musicians don't. And you have to just have incredibly low overhead. And that's fine. That's the reality of it.
Yeah. And, this is nothing new to say, but necessity is the mother of invention. And I think out of the crucible of hardship comes some of the best art.
Yeah.
I know, for sure, I had that same version of the journey. I mean, this house, the studio that we're taping in is behind the house where my wife and daughter and I live. And I've lived in this house for 10 years, the first 7 of which was as a renter. I just rented a room and then kind of gradually figured out a way to make it happen.
Nice.
But, it's like I wasn't in a hurry to have that happen. It was more like waking up one day and being like, I bet I can, maybe this could make sense. But yeah, and I have to this day, I have no desire to like, I don't know, have some kind of fancy house. I just wanted this is the present version of what we've been doing for our whole adult lives. Just like doing something creative and interesting. This is too much about me. I would like to know more about you.
You have an amazing house, by the way.
Whoa.
Like, your house is so cool, and it's in the best part of Nashville.
Well, so. I mean, it's in a funky part of East Nashville.
What I think is the best.
No, I wholeheartely agree. In fact, my wife and I talk about it all the time. But one of the things that is so nice about it is that like it's so walkable, and we walk too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having a 100th episode celebration at the 5 Spot.
Oh, cool.
In April, and the 5 Spot is a short walk from the house, and that's one of the best charms about living in this part of town. I mean, then we had Molly Tuttle was a guest. We taped her show a couple of days ago. She walked over with Kedge.
Nice.
There's 2 great recording studios within 8 houses of me on this block. So there's just like truly like music and the creativity in the air, and not just music and creativity, but like lifers.
Yeah.
And those are the people that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
It's like anyone can do this when they're 22. It's the 32-year-olds and the 42-year-olds
when
and
it's
the
in your
52-year-olds.
blood.
Yeah. And you have to figure out, you go up and you go down in the journey, and you figure out how to pivot, and you have to be scrappy, and you like all of that stuff is such, there's so many interesting stories here, I think. And yours is like, you're just at the very, very beginning of your interesting story, I feel like.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to McKenna Hartland, who, you know McKenna.
I do. Yeah.
And she's my best friend. And I was talking about being a piano accompanist and how I don't like that part of my story. Like, because how old am I again? 33. And I was like, sometimes I wish I was the kid in Belmont who would just come here at 18 and then I moved here when I was 27, almost 28. So part of me is like, oh my God, what if I'd had from 18 to 28 to be here in Nashville pursuing being an artist? Like, imagine where I'd be, or like, you never can know what would have happened, for better or for worse. Maybe I would have been burnt out by now. Instead, I have like so much energy towards my project and the music I'm writing. But I was talking to her about how I made my living in Nashville, in Florida, was I was a piano accompanist. And I worked at a high school and I worked at a college, and I loved it. Like I had a blast doing it. But I don't find that like to be a very interesting part of my journey. And she was saying, no, it is interesting because it's not interesting. Like it's just kind of weird, and it's relatable, and it inspires people maybe who are just doing whatever to be like, oh wait, no, I can pivot and become an artist even a little later in life, where a lot of times we see the 16-year-olds, online, and it's like, wow, that's amazing. It's not quite as amazing for like a 30-something-year-old to be an emerging artist, But I think it's a little more inspiring.
Absolutely. I wrote a song with another East Nashville singer-songwriter named Robbie Hecht.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's fantastic. He's so good. He's like an inspiring songwriter and person. And we wrote a song called Late Bloomers on that note. And it's like really, it's something that cuts as wide a swath through people as does the like fascination with and obsession with like youth prodigies and stuff like that. It's just like we all have this hope that we're going to find our way in the end. And I think that hope is more universal and more common in its way than a lot of other hopes, you know, like, and something that's like sustaining, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you have hope that someday this thing will pay off, whatever that means, or you can't even articulate that exactly, that hope is extremely powerful, to make you put up with some hardships. Speaking of hardships, I read somewhere that when you finally moved to Nashville, one of your first experiences was being a background singer, that you got cut from the show like 30 minutes at dress rehearsal before the show aired. Tell us about that.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That was with, I don't know if I'll say exactly who it was with. She's a great friend of mine and Eric's. But yeah, it was during COVID, and me and McKenna were the backup singers. We'd been in town for like maybe 6 months, and Eric had been like, oh yeah, you guys should do be backup singers for this show. It'll be great. And I don't know, I guess it wasn't great, Korby. We thought it was great. I'm not used to failing, honestly. Like I was a nerd and a straight A student, and when I've decided to say yes and do something, I'll like give it my all. So still looking back, I'm like, I wonder what it was. Like, it may have been something like we looked awkward. Maybe we did, that's totally fair. But yeah,
was it like a high pressure industry showcase for this artist?
It was during COVID. So it was like, imagine all of this equipment in this room times like 100. It was a really big production that was getting live streamed. I don't remember all the details. I just remember it was like a really big deal. And actually the artist we were singing for, she wasn't even totally in control of like us getting hired and fired, I think. So
not an indie.
It's kind of I like smile about it now because it was so dramatic back then. But now I'm like, oh, that was so not a big deal.
Yeah, sure. But at that moment, you're like,
the moment it was
intro to Nashville. It's like,
yeah. And I just remember the guy who fired us. He's like, oh, girls, I'm sure you'll have like plenty of time to have opportunities like this. You're what, 21, 22? And me and McKenna are like, we're 28. And he's like, oh. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, at least we look younger.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, that's great. Obviously, that is the compliment to take from that. So, I mean, obviously you didn't turn tail and run home, Yeah,
that kind of thing. When I fail like that, I learn from it. I remember being like, what did I do wrong? And like looking on YouTube and looking like, oh, okay, what does a background vocalist do? And knowing more now, 6 years later, I'm like, me and McKenna don't really have backup vocal tones the way a lot of people, especially, it was a pop country thing, and the way they were probably wanting. So maybe it was that. And I don't know. But I remember like, how I approach that kind of thing is like, I'll look and see, oh, well, what could I have done better? And then move on and then be like, you know what? My goal, I didn't move to Nashville to be a backup singer.
Yeah.
So that kind of cut will only like cut me so deep, because it's like, cool, I'm not a good backup singer. That actually is a bit of a compliment, because I don't want to be in the background anymore, because that's what I had done. I'd been the accompanist. And I was still, right when I moved to Nashville, I'd worked as an accompanist at Trevecca. So then I got hired at a random bar called Sambuca that's not even here anymore. And that was kind of where I found my voice. And I was like, oh, I told the guy who hired me, I was like, no, I'm a background singer. I can't do lead. Like, I don't have a strong enough voice. And he really pushed me to be a lead singer. And it was also COVID, so they were like dying for vocalists who could also play. So they didn't have to pay 3 people. They just paid me and the drummer. And that I really tried out a lot of things. It built my confidence up so much. Like, that was the start of growing into what I am now. But that's another reason I had my folk band, because I was like, I can't do this solo. My voice isn't good enough. And that just comes from, maybe 5 or 6 times that someone said my voice wasn't strong or wasn't good enough, or they compared it to something else. And then I replayed those over and over and over, and I told myself that story. Because now I love my voice. But that's like now a choice that I have to make, to be like, I love my voice. I love what it does. I love the tone. But I wasn't always like that.
And the industry has zillions of artists that sound like themselves and have careers because they sound like themselves.
Yeah. And when I moved to Nashville, I realized that really quickly. I was like, oh, it's about the song, and it's about like the character behind the voice. And a lot of the best singers are in wedding bands, and no one will ever know their name. And that's fine. Maybe that's what they want to do. But I was like, that's not what I want to do. And just because like maybe I can't belt my face off like other people that I know and other singers and artists, like, doesn't mean I have to be like, oh no, I'm not good enough.
Absolutely. And let me ask you this. One of the things that moving to Nashville for me, having had like a regional career in Seattle and the Pacific Northwest, one of the things that I learned quickly was that the pressure of Nashville forces you to kind of figure out who you are on the stage, or, on the proverbial stage. And, for me, like I could play guitar and I could sing, and I wrote some songs that like made it so that people helped me make records. And, but I came to Nashville, I'm like, oh, everybody here, there's better versions of all of that everywhere, and so how do I set myself apart? And that was really like the journey that I'm on to this day. And so do you feel that? And how have you sort of learned to hone your craft, or lean on your strengths? Or do you think about it that way?
Yeah. And I mean, with the internet, it's impossible to not think about it. I feel like I constantly have 2 voices going on in my head, like one saying I'm not good enough and one saying I am.
That covers it.
And I just have to decide which one to listen to at any given moment, because that's maybe the hardest part of what we do. I think. I mean, there's a lot of things about being a musician that makes life really easy, honestly.
Like, to remind me what those things are.
I don't have to set an alarm clock. You have a kid, so you have an automatic alarm clock. But and I have a dog now, so I do too. But it's like I get to be my own boss, which for my personality is awesome. I love that. So there's a lot of parts of my life that I'm like, oh, this is so easy compared to like if I was working a corporate job or something. And it's so fulfilling, and I get to be myself and be creative. And it's, I feel so lucky and fortunate. And then I think the hard part of it is the mind, the battle in the mind. And I think scrolling on social media is, just feeds negativity a lot for everyone, every artist that I talk to. No one's ever like, oh yeah, I scroll on TikTok and Instagram and then I feel really good about myself.
I get fired up.
It's like, why do we do this? But like sometimes I do get inspired, when I see people posting things. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I love that. And then sometimes I'm like, oh man, they're so much better and they have so many more numbers and this and that than I do. I'm so behind and I'm old and I need to redo my roots. It's like, it's just a matter of taking control of your thoughts and being like, okay, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole in my mind today.
I love what you're saying, and I relate to it a lot. Obviously, I'm riddled with self-doubt, as anybody who dares to step out into the world and be like, this is my try is. But I also, I feel like sometimes, and I'm thinking this out loud. So I'm curious to get your perspective on this, and also be patient with me as I try to say it, which is that like sometimes self-criticism gets a bad rap. And what I mean by that is there is I think that part of success in the world in any field has a lot to do with self-awareness and being able to look at yourself critically and make a judgment based on that critical self-evaluation. This is weird to say that out loud. And whereas, and I think both of those things are working in tandem in every artist and maybe every person, but there's the nurturer part of your personality, my personality, which is just like, it's okay. You just be yourself, let your song, find your song. And it's just like, this is today. So try to write a song today. And if it works, great. You might write the best song of your life today, or you might just write a song, or you might not even finish, but all three of those outcomes are acceptable.
Yeah.
And I think you have to have that permissive attitude in anything you do. Like I'm in the middle of writing this novel, like my third draft of it, and it's like what I'm doing right now.
That's so cool.
It's insane for 25 reasons, but who knows? That's another, doesn't matter. But in the middle of it, it's so brutal, all of those things that are working out, because there's this like voice in my head that's like, God, you're not Proust, dude. Why are you even trying? But I'm Korby. I'm going to do that. I'm just like, this is my take on it. And both of those things are like at war with each other. My point is that I think that even if you're like writing a song, a great song doesn't happen on accident. It doesn't happen without a critical eye being focused on every little blemish of that song and how can we make it just that much better. And those two things I think are really important if you're serious about making good art.
Yeah, you can't just be like, oh, everything I do is great and I'm not going to ever think negative about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
but I don't think people really need to learn how to think negatively about themselves. It's a lot more work to like think positively about yourself. At least in this town. Some people have like huge egos and maybe they don't need that help. But I
marvel at those people, but I find them,
I want to be like them.
Their art tends to not be very moving to me.
That is true. That's the self-awareness part that you're talking about.
Yeah. One of the things I feel like that has positioned you well in your life journey as an indie artist is that you're just like very industrious. What is that word?
What?
You work hard. You're a hustler, and you are working every day at your craft, and you're not waiting for somebody to make it happen for you. Would you agree?
Yes. My mom called me Tenacious Tabby
growing
up.
That's a great descriptor for you. Tenacious, but also scrappy, and maybe that's part of tenacity. But also, like, since we talked last time, which was like a 23, a lot's happened. Yeah. And one of the things that's happened is like your whole visual, the way that you present yourself in the world has gotten like really dialed something. And,
yeah.
Is that been on accident, on purpose? Did you try a bunch of things? How did you land on this kind of mod 60s vibe? Tell me about it.
I tried a bunch of things, and you can see that since when we talked, all the songs I've released since then, which has been like probably 30 or 40. Yeah, I have tried a lot of things. It's funny when people are like, "Oh yeah, just be yourself," and like write a song that feels like you, and we're so multifaceted as people. There's a lot of songs that feel like me. Even like when we were trying out the two, I don't know which one we'll end up picking out of the songs we tried for videoing, but both of those songs, they sort of live in the same world. But like one was very slow and like meaningful, and one was more show-offy and silly and party retro time. Party. It's like there's so many versions of. Not versions of us, but parts of us.
Yeah, no, I think versions of ourselves is fair to say.
Yeah, that come out musically. And I released a lot of different sides of myself. The last 2023, I released a few songs. 2024, I made a really conscious decision to be like, okay, nobody is listening to my music. Nobody's caring. I'm just going to release as much music as possible and see what happens, see what people like the most. And that's my like business side, where it's like, let me just analyze what people like the most and then do more of that. And it all felt like me. It was all songs I loved. So it doesn't feel like a betrayal, like, oh, now that I've, full on decided to lean into the retro thing. That feels so like me, and I love playing my shows, and now like leaning into it even more is so fun. But it's also what people responded to.
And that wouldn't have happened had you not been very permissive with your experiments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like very Nora Jones, just piano ballads, like really more deep lyrically sad songs. I released a retro EP that wasn't really the quirkiness and the 60s vibe that I have now, but it was kind of part of the path. Then I released a real singer-songwriter-y, kind of Civil Wars-esque Stevie Nicks kind of EP in the fall. And then I did more Christmas music in the winter. And then the Christmas song, Ready for Christmas, that I released the year before took off that year in 2024. So it took a whole year for people to even find it. Then after that blew up, a lot of other songs. I released Girl of the Hour, which felt so like authentically me and was really my favorite song at that point that I'd written. And then people really were responding to both of those songs. So they helped lead me towards this brand. And then the producer that I found that worked with me for Girl of the Hour, he helped me on most of the songs for the album I just released.
Mm-hmm. Who was that producer?
Teddy Morgan.
Sounds
He's
great.
amazing.
Yeah. Props to Teddy. The album sounds fantastic.
Thanks.
It's very, may I say, like it's playful, but it's also like very intentional in that it's playing. There's the parts and the articulation. I mean, it's like clearly this girl's got chops, which I feel like that's part of you. You're not just like playing block chords to just provide a foundation for your wonderful ballad. You're like, you got something to say here with the left hand and the right hand. So props to that. And I want to ask you about the sync success. How did that figure into it? And then I have a follow-up question on that.
I'm trying to think. Probably when we talked last, I'd maybe had like one sync, and now I've had over 30. And some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. But my manager, she also came into the picture maybe a year and a half ago. And she runs the sync company. So that's helped. And then another sync company I've worked with for a few years, maybe like 4 years now, is Lyric House. And sync is just, I think you have some success in
I've had a
sync.
little bit. Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you
So
about
it's
it.
a lot of planting a ton of seeds. I have like 200 songs out there being pushed out in sync catalogs, more than I could ever release. Some of them I wouldn't want to release. And so then I've had 30 placements, and some of those are repeat songs. So if you think about it, it's not like, oh, every single song I write syncs by any means.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of seeds that have been planted, and then I see a few flowers grow from that.
My question is, of the songs that have landed, what percentage of those are Tabitha songs?
I have a pop alter ego called Marlia. That some of those have been that brand, which is so fun. That's like what we were talking about, like a whole nother, side of me musically. That it was so different. I couldn't really release it under Tabitha Meeks, where it would make sense. But some of those have been that, and those I write real specific for sync too. And then some are Tabitha Meeks. Maybe it's half and half. And then now that my artist project is really starting to take a good shape and I'm becoming known more in this like retro world, which I love, I'm trying to write all of my sync songwriting sessions in that world, just so when something does sync now, it pushes and connects with my artist project. But I have a song called Cherry on Top that's about to have a placement in like a week on a Hulu show. And I probably can't say what show. I'll tell you later.
Nice.
But that one will be pretty big for me. And that's really cool because it's a song off my album. So
Congratulations on that. What song is it?
Cherry on Top.
Cherry on Top is the song from the album.
Yeah.
When you're writing sync, you mentioned that like there are songs that I write sometimes for sync that wouldn't fit in my own catalog, my Tabitha Meeks catalog. When you're writing for sync, what is different about that approach as opposed to I'm going to write a song for myself? What elements are part of a sync song to you?
The way I have done it has changed because I feel like I learn about every 6 months, my strategy with it changes. But right now, what I do is I try and write a song that feels like me. And before I would leave out like a lot of personal details because I was like, oh, sync doesn't want that. And now I'm kind of on the train of like, you know what? I think sync agents and sync supervisors, they want a good song and they want it to feel like something. So like the Cherry on Top song, I say, I'm getting married in a couple months. My best friend is the one I love. And I'm like, that's so, a very specific scene. So normally in sync roles, that would be like, nope, that's not going to sync. You're saying something too specific. But it did because the song feels good and there's other catchy parts of the song. So now I just write a song that I know feels good, that I like. Usually if I like it, then like other people will like it. And if I'm like, oh, let me write a sync song, but it's not going to be as good as a normal song, but it'll be good for sync. That's just wasn't giving me the success, that I was wanting. And I think it wasn't the right mindset. But now I'll write a song that feels like me, and then I'll go back in and be like, okay, let me give something that would maybe be good for a TV mix. Like for the Cherry on Top song, I have bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, which those little vocal things are always good for sync because there's not lyrics that are competing with the scene. And then I'll try and think of a hook that's, original and that means something. And
just like writing a song.
Yeah.
And when you're recording them, do you record the songs? Do you work with a producer? Or like to put that many out?
Producer.
It's like that's fast.
Yeah.
So you're writing the song maybe at the studio, and they're finishing it up or they're making the mix and bouncing it out. I'm asking.
And then usually what I'll do is we'll split the master 50-50. And we've usually written it together too. So they're trusting me also as an artist to have a good sync company to have it pitched out, or maybe they have one, because they're doing a lot of work on the the front end of producing the song, and then now it's my job as an artist to do some work on the back end. What did I say?
Home for it,
to do something with it afterwards, and so now I usually work with artists who really like producers who really like what I'm doing as an artist and are okay with me being myself. And I try and go into it with the mindset of, okay, I should release this. I want to write something I want to release. And it could be with the alter ego too, Marlia. But yeah, I think when I go into a session being like, I'm going to release this, then I write a better song.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I won't settle. You know, and I the producers own half the masters, so they want me to release it because that's a better chance for them to make money, you know,
absolutely,
on top of sync. So,
all this music talk has got me wanting to hear a song. Maybe do you want to? I was thinking maybe we could do the ballad and then finish with a party song.
Yeah.
So, do you want to set up the ballad?
Sure.
Let's do it. Tell me about it.
The ballad is called Waiting for My Day. I wrote it with my friend Joe Ickes. He's in a band called The Young Original, and he's an amazing instrumentalist. The song doesn't really have any piano in it, but I'm going to do a special piano ballad version. But it's this gorgeous guitar part that just feels like it's flowing. And it's just an honest song. It says I'm patiently waiting for my day. Like the future's my imaginary friend. So they say I'm just patiently waiting for my day. And it's that mindset, I think, of being like, okay, I'm here being an artist. Like, what do I want? What are my dreams? Okay, I know they're coming. I'm going to trust the universe, trust the process, keep going. Okay.
Rolling hills outside my windowsills, 100 acres by the lake. Dreams I keep when I fall asleep slowly disappear when I'm awake. The future's my imaginary friend. You could say I'm just patiently waiting for my day. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Something tells me it's not so far away. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm just patiently waiting for my day. Sunset Boulevard, look down at the stars. Wish that someday I could shine so bright above the trees in my fantasies. I could see my name up in the lights. The future's my imaginary friend. You can say I'm just patiently waiting for my day. Ooh, 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 ooh. Something tells me it's not so far away. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm just patiently waiting even though it sounds cliche. I'm just patiently waiting for my day. We're just patiently waiting for our day.
That was fantastic. And I think that maybe the acute listener will hear a little baby voice her approval there at the closing moments.
Kind of perfect.
It
It's kind of a lullaby, isn't it?
She was in here. She loved it. And she even I guess we'll tell people, we record these songs before we have the conversation. I just pulled the mask off. And Zuzu comes down, my daughter, and she let Tabitha hold her, which she never does. So that means Tabitha's a very good person.
Oh,
When you get baby approved, man, babies don't lie.
yeah, babies and dogs, right?
Yeah, totally. Speaking of persons, you've had a personal life upgrade recently, and I wonder, I've already spoken of my love for your partner, Eric Fortaleza.
I love him too.
And how's it going so far, being married and doing this? Do you feel like it's changed, or well, that's what I'll say. It's like, how's it going?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like somehow it got even better when we were married, which is scary because two artists being married to each other
doesn't always
work.
Gel.
And we don't play in each other's bands at all.
Mm-hmm.
I've written a couple songs for his band. Shout out Mocha Family Band. And we always give each other advice, and we're each other's sounding board, and we've honestly helped each other a lot. We're both really passionate about pouring into other people that we find in town that are talented and may need help in any way. Obviously, pitch meeting is that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's always on my heart and that I do naturally. But it's funny because me and Eric are both kind of intense about it. And we realize hey, we need to chill out. We're also kind of low-key just telling people what they should do with their life. And no one wants to hear that. So around the time we got married, we made a decision. We're like, let's pour that energy into each other. When you feel the need to oh my God, why isn't this person doing that? Oh, what if they just did this and they could tweak their career like this? And what if they did that? That'd be so good for them. They should listen to me. It's well, okay, they're not, and that's okay. Everyone's on their own path and journey, but I'll listen to you. What do you think I should do with my career? And so he does that for me. I do that for him. And once we made that decision, both of our careers have done way better.
I mean, it's invaluable to have a perspective of somebody who's talented and also has your true best interests in mind.
Yeah.
That's something that money can't buy.
Yeah. We're each other's merch booth bitch. That's what we call it, which is a Sex and the City reference, if anyone out there's listening. But I do merch at his shows. He does merch at my shows.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be. I married a creative person also, and she is an actor, and she's really talented and books constantly. Yeah, she's great. But one of the things we talked about that's been so nice, I have my card going too. I get in there. I do some acting.
Yeah.
I'll say some lines that I didn't write. And but we get auditions fairly often from our agent, 1 to 2 to 3 sometimes a week, which is too many. But one of the things that's just invaluable is just having somebody who can read with you, because a lot of times it's self-taping, and so you have somebody that you're filming and then they're reading the other lines, and then you're on camera doing your thing. And it's so much harder for people if they don't have a roommate that does it, or, and in our case we have 2 intense people in our family that have some talent and a lot of ruthless professionalism or whatever it is. And so we're both each other's director, and that definitely makes it so that we can turn in our best work.
Yeah.
And also just, she's a great sounding board for, her credit, she spends more time helping me than I do help her probably in her job. But it's just so invaluable to have somebody to just bounce ideas off of, who can tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And but also be your biggest fan and your biggest advocate. So I'm so happy for you.
The biggest thing too is we keep gratitude at the forefront. Almost every single day we look at each other and say, look at our life. Aren't we so lucky? Like, this is amazing. I can't believe we get to do this.
Yeah.
Like, there's hardly ever a day where something like that doesn't get said. And it's really, really genuine. We both feel it. And so I think just having that energy bouncing between us is huge.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about before, it's really can be a hard industry to.
And I'm so happy to hear that. And I feel like you guys both exude that in everything you do. And it's no surprise that it's so infectious and that you built up this great community around it. And I think about that in contrast. I feel the same way. I'm like, I'm almost 50 and I'm like the least jaded person I know. I feel like a little kid and I'm just like so excited to try to do it again, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I know lots of people that have had more success in some of those metric terms, fame and money. And that is not commensurate with happiness and a sense of fulfillment. You know, like people can be really bummed out and just be mad that it's not like it used to be, or it's they can't see the future, or I don't know. There's so many reasons to not feel grateful. You know, if you want to look at any of them, that I feel like that habit and that exercise of gratitude is just, God, it's so like obvious as a positive, life strategy. It's just like wake up and go,
be happy.
All right. Like,
Yeah.
And that you can always feel, you can always notice something that's not working, but you can also always notice something that is and be grateful for that. Even if it's just like my back doesn't hurt today like it did yesterday or whatever, And
it's so good to be with a partner who I can be like, hey, like, stop complaining. Your life is amazing. Like, look at it. Like, we have this awesome house and a cute puppy and you do music for a living and like, we're happy. Like, and Eric will receive that and he'll be like, yeah, you're right. Thanks, babe. He's not going to shut me down and be like, oh my God, stop being positive.
Get it.
Yeah, like, no. And we do, our friend Sam Moses, do you know Sam? He's an amazing master engineer.
I don't think I know him personally.
Oh my God, he's just a really great mind and great person. But he told us the 3 H's, which is helping, heard, hug. And so if we are complaining, sometimes it's like, okay, he'll try and like help me out. And I'll be like, heard, I need heard. Or like, I need a hug. That's it. Not that we are only talking about positive things. We complain all the time too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 3 H's also has helped us. And we love our couples therapist. We're big proponents of therapy all the time. Everyone should go. Keep your mental health in check.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And my last question for you, my friend, is...
That's one already.
Well, I don't know. I say that, but it could go to 2 to 3 to 4. You mentioned before the mics were going that you don't tour as much as you did, I just want to ask you about touring, and maybe I'll just say, like, how often are you out on the road?
Well, this is exciting because I just got a booking agent.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that was through my amazing manager, Heather Cook, and the booking agent's Larry Cosson. And he's booking me for a lot of like performing arts centers coming up. So the first one with Larry is in May. So I feel like, okay, I'm finally doing it, like, for real. I quit my jobs around town playing at hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Now I only have one residency, which is at Skulls Rainbow Room. Have you been to Skulls?
Oh.
I love Skulls. So I play their brunches.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, that's the trio. It's a beautiful room. It's cool. I'm like, I don't want to give that gig up because I actually just am doing it because I enjoy it as well. And they're so cool. They let me do all of my originals and just treat it like an original show. But yeah, all of my other hotel gigs, which when I got them, when I moved here, I was just thrilled about. And then they slowly got a little tedious, especially on my voice, doing 4 hours in a hotel lobby. And then also like when no one's really listening, it can wear on you after a while, especially when like you want to be doing original music and playing for an audience. So I feel like that kind of all got timed really perfectly, because right when I was sort of feeling a bit of a diminished spirit about playing at hotels, because even though it's music for a living, so it's like, that's still awesome. A ton of people would kill to make a living through music, even if it's, hotel gig. And but right when I was kind of like losing the fun for that, the booking agency happened and social media numbers started growing. So that helped the booking agency happen. And all of that happened through Eric's company, Dinner Table Productions, which I just post a bunch of videos of my live shows. And then that's what attracted all the growth on socials. And then that's, it's all snowballing into something else. But the touring has been so fun. And I don't ever want to be the kind of artist who's like probably out for like 3 months straight and not home. Like, that's just not me. So that's what I was saying. It's like, Eric probably could do that. Some people have the capacity. But right now I'm going out like on weekends and doing little runs. And I was out for 3 weeks in February. That was maybe my cap of like how long I like to be out. If there's an amazing tour and I'm out for months, I'm not going to say no, because I also think in the world of AI, like playing out live is so important. And I don't have kids right now. All we have to do is get a dog sitter. So I'm like all in wanting to play. And then now that I have more online fans, people are like, hey, come to Minnesota, come to California, come to Calgary. And so I'm like, oh, I want to go and meet people who enjoy my music and are, spending the time to listen to what I write. Like, that's so cool. There's not really a feeling that beats that as an artist.
No, for sure not. I mean, that was for me. To me, it was always the goal was the live show.
Yeah.
And that's where all of the fans that I've ever made, there's people that liked the songs that they heard somehow on a radio or a playlist, but it was the live experience that made the fan and made the relationship, between me and the fan. And that's something that persists to this day.
Yeah.
So like artists who really don't want to tour, I'm like, you're kind of missing out on something so real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you probably kind of have to, although there's huge, I'm thinking of that white rapper guy on TikTok there's a couple of them now, but they're playing shows. But the guy never ever toured. He like lives out in North Carolina. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Somebody would listen to this knows. He's like got a red hair and glasses. He totally does not look like an artist. And he's like the biggest artist on TikTok. And he just puts out raps.
I wonder who it is.
But it's like clean rap. They're super catchy and really, it's good. I think I'm like a fan of this guy. I'm like, cool, tell me more. Because he's really very down to earth dude and serious about making great music, and also just does not exist in the microcosm of the music industry and does not want to, and has made it
fair.
A whole career on TikTok. It's fair. It's totally fair. But I'm also just like, I do not want to. This makes me so sad. Like if you're listening, just like I'm holding up my hand, like there's a phone in it, and I'm staring at it. I don't know what to do about this thing that makes us all sad. You alluded to it earlier, of just like the perniciousness of phones in our lives and how it like really is driving us all away from each other. And I feel like the live show is a solution to that, or an antidote to that. But it's just kind of weird that in order to make your business work, you have to play into this thing, which I feel like is a pervasive cultural disease. I don't really know what to do about it. But it's also like when before all of this was happening and I was just like living in a car, driving around the country constantly, I did think often about like my eco footprint is enormous, with all the gas guzzling. So
it's like a necessary evil.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to make peace with certain aspects of what you're doing, and not all of them are going to be great, right? I don't know. If you have a dream,
you can't be an artist and not post.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were an artist before and you have a following,
maybe
could.
So.
But you can't start as a musician and not post.
Yeah.
Like you can, but I don't know anyone that's like killing it without posting online. Do you?
No.
Like, that's how you find fans and get people to come out to the live show.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that I've kind of figured my way around it is like what I was saying. It's just videos of the live show, and then I hire someone to post it for me. So I'm constantly posting videos, but it's just live performances. Mm-hmm. And then when they do well, people are like, "Oh my God, I want to see you live." Because that's what's done well. Mm-hmm. It's not like a random video of me talking. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, cool.
That's great. We found something that's working.
Yeah. So it helps me also not be like, oh my God, I have to create content today. What am I going to do? Because I did that for 4 years before this strategy. And it's exhausting and really demoralizing.
Yeah. I know it well. I post a lot on the podcast, and we have a team now, and we're all constantly meeting to like hone the strategy. And one of the main parts of the strategy is to minimize my time spent posting on social media, because just like the tagging, all of the nuts and bolts of doing it is to me like the part that makes me want to end my life.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And especially,
But then if something blows up, then you might get new fans who hear it. And so it's like, you don't want to not do it. Yeah, it's a hard thing.
Well, and also, I mean, we go to great lengths to try to make something that's sort of lovely in the room. And so that's the end game, for the podcast at least. But I do, there is a zero-sum balance of time in every day. And, I'm always paying attention to like, what is the thing that makes me come alive? What is the thing that makes me feel happy at the end of the day of like, this is how I spent my day. And let's aim at that as much as possible. There's going to be things that you just have to do, fold laundry, whatever. But with that time that we can structure, I'm always just like trying to make the most of it, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm excited for you. You have a lot going on, and you are a hardworking person, and you're really talented. And
thank you for believing in me when I had nothing going on. 3 years ago.
I was a fan from the beginning.
You saw me at the songwriting round.
The pin drop thing. Yeah. I was one of the pin drops.
And I really appreciate that.
Well, I have excellent taste in art. And, I mean, in all seriousness, I've seen countless upon countless shows. And there is just something about what I call it, and this is what you are, is a musical person that just glows in a room. And it's just different than a guy who wrote a cool song and sings it and he's like trying to be a star, or it's just like music it comes out of certain people, and you're one of those people. So I'm attracted to that, and I want to be around it. And I feel like I'm one of those people, you know?
Definitely are. Yeah. So I think you walk into a room and people are like, he's somebody.
That's all. It's just keeping the lights low. Anyway, so I'm a big fan, and I'm so happy to see all your work paying off. And I thought maybe we could go out with one more song.
Okay, let's do it.
What's this one?
This is called Life of the Party.
Ooh, I can't wait. Tabitha Meeks, thanks so much.
Wish I liked to go on hikes, be the cool girl with the boots who only eats organic fruit. And there's a secret that I keep: my makeup stays on when I sleep. Hope no one's coming after me. I swear someday I'll join a gym. I used to run, but it got hot, and I hate sweating quite a lot. I know I watch too much TV, reruns of Sex in the City. Probably why I'm still not married. I just wanna be like Carrie. I'm a perfect little mess instead of being bored to death. I'll be the life of the party. I'll be the life of the party. If I could be just anybody, I'll be the life of the party. $7 on a latte. I know that money could be saved, but I'm happy every day. And I'm not where I thought I'd be, but I'm living out all my dreams. Might be broke and out of luck, but I feel like $1,000,000. I'm a perfect little mess instead of being bored to death. I'll be the life of the party. I'll be the life of the party. If I could be just anybody, I'll be the life of the party. Ooh, 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 yeah. Ooh, I'm a perfect little mess instead of being bored to death. I'll be the life of the party. I'll be the life of the party. If I could be just anybody, I'll be the life of the party. I'm a perfect little mess instead of being bored to death. I'll be the life of the party. I'll be the life of the party. If I could be just anybody, I'll be the life of the party. No, I don't wanna just be boring. I'll be the life of the party. Woo!
The Morse Code Podcast is produced by Korby Lenker and Jared Hammond in East Nashville, Tennessee. Our executive producer is Randa Newman. You can find full videos for this and all previous episodes at morsecodepodcast.com.